Hey guys, Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you another A to Z build challenge video. I'm so excited for this one. I don't even know why. It's nothing special compared to any other build. I think it's just that I finished this one pretty much the day of. I don't think I had to go back at all to change a single thing about this build, which I just love that. I love that it worked. I love that it, came together pretty fast, pretty quickly. And when I put the raw footage in, it was 6.5 hours, which I managed to, with some very rough cuts, cut down to 5.5. And then I did have to cut out like a huge chunk of it and then speed some other parts up. So you might notice at some points the build does get a lot faster, but that is when I am doing basically the same thing over and over again. So you're not missing out on any building that I do, you're not missing out on anything like that. It's basically me just like pulling out a bunch of random, I say random, but pulling out a bunch of items that I think would work here, and then just putting them onto the shelves. So I speed all that sort of stuff up, but the actual building and whatnot, like there's a storeroom I say in the back, but it's technically the side of the building, and I make it so that when I'm like building there's a little kitchenette area and a little desk area and all that, like I slow it down for that, but filling in the shelves I don't, because, well, I mean, do you guys really want to sit here watching me put the same thing on a shelf 257 times? It's really monotonous, I'm not gonna lie. And I actually got to a point where I couldn't put any more of the same item on a shelf, not in the storeroom, but in the like main part of the build. I've never had that happen to me. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I've never had an item that just would not let me place any more of it. Like I could place other items, but I could not place any more of that specific item, and it was so just disorientating. I was like, why can I not place more of this particular item? I'm so confused. And it turns out it's because I just put too many of that particular item. I've heard people talking about there is an item cap in game, but the issue is nobody knows what it is, and I mean, I definitely didn't know what it was, and also there's no like item cap, but apparently from what I've dealt with, there might even be an item limit for each particular item. I don't know. So if you are into gaming or game coding or anything like that, please definitely let me know if that's a thing in The Sims or not, or if you know anything about it. I would love to know, because I just needed like maybe, I think it was maybe one more of that item. I just needed like a handful more of that item to put on the shelf. It was some cans, and because they had different recolors, I could make them look like different vegetables and fruits, canned vegetables. I think it was all just canned vegetables. But there might have even been one that was beans. So yeah, I just tried to move on and work on a different spot, because it just did not want to work for me. So yeah, you might see that at some point it starts glitching out, but also this did crash. I can't remember why the game crashed, and I don't, it was much later after me trying to put all the cans in, so I'm not sure if it was just like struggling because I'd overloaded it, or if I had done something. But I think, I don't know, I must have accidentally pressed a button to go somewhere and it just glitched out and crashed on me. So yeah, I did cut out that section, thankfully. So it's right towards the end, where I am doing the office space, and what else was I doing? I was doing something else. Part of the landscaping. So I get like half the landscaping done and I save, and I'm so glad that I saved, because if I hadn't saved in like an hour. So yeah, definitely make sure if you're building along, please save your game. Just save. Anytime you hear my voice, you should just save your build. Save whatever you're working on. If you are doing some form of art or writing or anything digital that needs saving, please do that. I don't know how you save non-digital things, but if that's a thing and you need to do that, make sure you save there as well. But even if you're not playing Sims and you're playing another game, definitely also save, because you definitely don't want to lose your progress. I've lost progress one too many times in this game that I try to save every time I go on stream break. Also, every time that when I get a chunked up, because I don't always stream what I'm building, but yeah, when I do, I try and save when I go on breaks, and when I don't, I try and save every time I get up and have a break, which is usually every half an hour, which is still quite a long time away. Like, half an hour to save things? Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't lost more things. But also, I have been working on, like, helping my computer run a bit better, and I've not had as many crashes from anything, really. Like, OBS used to crash at least once a week, and would cause my game to be really slow and glitchy. Obviously, having CC doesn't help, but yeah, even then, like, changing the settings and a few different things, and not having things start up all the time, and actually shutting down my computer every once in a while instead of just putting it to sleep 24/7 so it's constantly on. Yeah, definitely made some better decisions there. But yeah, look, before, like, I don't know, let's say the start of the month, we'll just go with the start of the month, when I was having all the issues with my computer, I was like, I just need to get a new one. This is so stupid. Like, I'm over this. I cannot stand this computer. And it turns out, no, it's not the computer, it was me. So, yeah, I've gone ahead and definitely changed up a few things. But now I don't have to be as stressed out about saving up to get a new, better computer. Because this one actually does work. And I'm very glad for that, because I don't like wasting things. I don't like the idea of, like, getting something and then having to get rid of it and keep, like, get new stuff to use it again. I like longevity in my things. In fact, yeah, one of the monitors I currently have, it's been my go-to monitor every time I have problems with actual monitors, is a Samsung TV from 2007. So, you know, it's a little, how do I put it? Not great? Yeah, let's go not great. But it has lasted this entire time. There is only one little, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like when you have a laptop screen or whatever, there's like a film over it. Not quite a film, but if you take that off, people, like, you can't see the screen, but if you put that film over some lenses, you can still see the screen. It's like a little bit of that has come off, and it's just white light coming through the screen, but it's tiny. It's like, I can't even, like, a drop of water, like, that big. It's absolutely tiny. I can't even think of anything that's that small. Like, even, okay, I've got a calculator on my desk, because when I used to edit in Blender, I would need the calculator to make the I just needed a calculator. If you use Blender, you might know what I'm talking about, but it's smaller than the keys on the calculator, so it's, yeah, pretty small. That's such a random, like, a calculator, because everyone's just carrying one of those around. Like, I know everyone's got one in their phones, but yeah, look, long story short, it's a small little dot on the screen, and that is the only issue that's ever been there. And actually, no, the other thing is the buttons on the side don't work, so I just never turn the screen off, which I probably shouldn't do that, because isn't there, I don't know, I've heard something about, like, screen burn, screen freeze, screen something. But yeah, the button, like, when you try and press the off button, sometimes it'll change the output or the volume or random, like, the buttons are all kind of mixed up, and I'm done fighting with it. I have thought about getting, like, some sort of universal remote, but I don't, I'm just gonna get a new monitor, to be honest with you guys. I think I'm gonna keep this for as long as I can, though. I see no reason to get rid of it. I don't actually own a TV other than this one. Like, the roommates I live with now, they all own, not all of them, but, like, the TVs in this house are owned by everyone but me. Not everyone. I'm like just confusing myself here. I'm so sorry, guys. The TVs in the house that I live are owned by other roommates whom are not me, which makes them the other. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the only TV that I own. It's so small. Like it's smaller than I think my monitor's 28 inch. I don't know. I don't know how computers work. I just know that there's a monitor in front of me and it shows me the things that I'm doing. And that's all I need to know. If I have problems, I go to Onion and bother him until he fixes it. No, he loves IT stuff, so it's actually really good having a roommate who's really into IT stuff because, yeah, I can be like, hey, I'm having problems with this. How do I fix it? I don't need to know why it's not working. I just need to know what to do if it breaks again. And Onion's great with that. I also have another roommate who's very much into coding. So yeah, when I've had some issues with trying to get bots and stuff to work for Twitch, they just came in and were like, oh, you did this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't even know what that means, but sure. Thank you. I feel like I'm a little bit better with coding though. I'm not that bad where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing at all. I actually did a tiny bit of coding in school. My math teacher in one year was like, if we get all this work done early, we will get into some coding at the end of the term. And we did. And yeah, we got to do a little bit of coding and it was really good. And it was all approved by like the higher up teachers and whatnot because yeah, like if we got the work done and we did really well on our tests and whatnot, why worry about whether or not we're coding? Like we're learning extra stuff. It's fine. And I enjoyed it. It was actually kind of fun. It was not very intensive at all. It was very, very, very basic coding. Like we didn't even use a coding program. We got these little robots and had to code them to do certain things, and it was really, really fun to do that. And then yeah, I don't know about other countries, but in Australia, schools will sometimes go to universities and like compete against each other for just these fun little competitions. You know, I've been to schools in multiple different states, and I only really got involved in one state, and yeah, there was like a little STEM competition. I say little, it was a fair decent amount of schools. Yeah, but a STEM competition where we had to do a whole bunch of different things and activities, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I think we should do more of that. Like I fully understand that what am I saying, that creative arts and non-STEM related things, classes, ideas, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but like not everything has to be STEM related. Fully understand that, fully support that, but I also really do enjoy STEM things as well. I don't know, some people are very much into only STEM and some people are very much only into art, but I kind of like a bit of both. So I feel like they should exist both a bit more cohesively. I don't know. But I don't know. I kind of want to know how to code a little bit, but there's no reason for me to. I feel like, you know, my time could be spent towards learning something that could actually be useful and helpful towards the future, but also like coding is kind of fun. It's kind of fun, so I kind of want to do it. I don't know. It's, you know what? There's so many things that I want to do that I get a little bit overwhelmed because I'm like, there's so many things on my list that I want to do that I just stick with what I'm already doing. And I think I just need to set aside 5 minutes a day where I do something that isn't within my standard. And it doesn't have to be the same thing every day. Although knowing me, it will be. For like a month, I'll do like something to do with coding, and then another month I'll do a language, and then another month I'll go back to writing, and I'll just do different things. But you know what? At least it's something, and I feel like progress in some area is better than progress in no area. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do some stuff like that. I definitely want to do the language because some of the people I love to hang out with speak other languages, and I would love to just be able to surprise them with very, very poor conversational skills. I mean, I'd love to be able to treat them to conversational skills, but knowing me and knowing the I don't know, just the amount I'm aiming for poor at first, because at least poor means that I have some sort of understanding, and I can be like, okay, you're talking something about the weather. I see the word rain. Are you asking me if it's raining? Okay, how do I figure out how to answer that? So yeah, I think I don't know. I also like fun little challenges like that, because I obviously speak English. Not well. I'll be honest with you guys, not well all the time. But I do speak English, and it's easy and it's natural, and I can do that. But there are so many other languages out there that I don't know, and they're so beautiful, and just listening to them, I'm like, I want to know what's being said. I want to know how to say that. I want to know how to speak like that. Like, that's beautiful. But I've got so many languages on my list that I get a little bit overwhelmed. So what I think I'm going to do is pick maybe 2 or 3 that are kind of very far apart from each other, but have a lot attached to them. So, like learning a European language, you're not going to know all of the other European languages, but you're going to be like, hang on, I like, if that kind of means similar things, I can kind of understand that. And the other thing is, like, English, okay, so I learned Latin for a little bit. It was like 2 years. I don't really remember any of it. But Latin is related to English, it's related to Spanish, it's related to Italian, it's related to French. So if you kind of learn any of those languages, they kind of not, like, again, you're probably not going to be able to hold full conversations completely understanding each other, but you're probably going to be able to convey a message of some sort. Like, you're going to be able to get, maybe, like, I feel like you'd be able to get a message across. Maybe not necessarily English, but if you know bits of words here and there, I feel like you could, kind of have, like I said, poor conversational skills. Absolutely. At New Year's, I was chatting with someone who spoke a bit of Spanish, and I was like, oh, like, I know, like, a couple of words. But they started speaking to me in Spanish, and I was like, okay, maybe I remember a bit more. Like, I have no idea what you're actually saying, but, like, I'm picking up on these words here, and I think you're talking about this. And they're like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be able to have just that little bit of understanding. And it also makes it, like, a lot easier. So, like, the Sims 25-hour live stream happened quite recently, and I believe for a chunk of it, they were speaking French. Now, I've also done French. I did it for 6 months. I moved around a lot as a kid, so I've done a lot of different languages. Don't remember any of them. But yeah, like, the fact that they were speaking French, like, if I had stuck with French or, like, learned it on my own outside of school or whatever, I could have understood that, and I could have been there for the entire stream. I mean, I didn't. I went to bed. I didn't watch the whole thing. In fact, I recorded a video during the live stream, and I just went back and watched bits and pieces of it. But that's not the point. The point is, if I wanted to, I could have listened to the French parts and not had to, like, read the subtitles. Also, I have no idea if it was actually French or not. It's just that when I got up in the morning, I saw someone had written, I went to sleep and woke up and they were speaking French. So I'm under the assumption they were speaking French, because that's what that message said, and I did not verify it. Also, I don't speak French, so yeah, not a clue. But anyway, yeah, that's probably it when it comes to that weird little ramble and rant. But we could probably chat about the build now. Hey. So yeah, with this build, the grocery store, I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I really want to do it, but I don't feel like I've always wanted to do a grocery store, but I just felt like we haven't had enough items to be able to put in to justify it. But I went specifically looking for items within CC that were a bit more grocery oriented, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like, there's a decent amount of items here that I end up having sections of things. So, you know, if you want cleaning supplies, we've got toothpaste, we've got, that's more self-care actually. Cleaning supplies, we've got a couple of different types of detergent, 2 different, like, disinfectant sprays, some dishwashing soaps, a whole bunch of actual soaps, and yeah, I end up doing some, like, there's one whole shelf that's just like shampoo, conditioner, and body wash type soaps and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on in just like the cleaning section. I did pull out all those brooms and stuff, but I think I got rid of them. But there's like a little fruit and veggie section. It's quite small, because again, that was all I could really find with the fruit and veggies. Actually, yeah, you know what? Okay, when I say there's 2 types of this or 2 types of that, it's just that that's 2 different items, but I do pick all the recolors so that there is a lot of choice and option going on here. So yeah, if you do want like a particular brand, they've got the brand, but they've got like the different, I was gonna say flavors, but you're not really supposed to eat dishwashing liquid. Pretty sure you're not supposed to. I've heard that's not good for you. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different diapers and baby stuff that I put in, and with the diapers, there was, we call them nappies here, but yeah, most people call them diapers from what I understand overseas. But yeah, with the diapers, the nappies, you can see like with the swatch that it's currently on, it's just this random white baby, but I was like, you know what, I want like different colorations of the packaging, not in terms of the baby, but the packaging, because you can see there's like green backgrounds, blue backgrounds, and sort of like an orangey background, and I'm kind of under the assumption that maybe like they're the different age groups or the different sizes, and that even though there are a couple of ones that are blue and a couple of ones that are green and a couple of ones that are sort of that orangey color, that maybe it's like one's for sensitive skin or one's for I don't know, like I don't know. I've never had a baby. I've seen babies, grown up around babies. I have many cousins who are and have been babies. So yeah, I definitely like. I know that babies exist, but I don't really know the details about nappies and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of just made it up and went with it and went, yeah, no, that's good enough. Okay, cool, fantastic, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I ended up having a lot of fun with this little store. I do put in this little alcohol shelf. Now, in grocery stores here, we don't have this. We do not have a shelf for alcohol. And in fact, if you want to buy alcohol, you have to actually go into a separate store. Some of the stores here have like an alcohol store attached to them. So you can go into the grocery store and then into the alcohol store, or you can just go into the alcohol store. It's got like two entrances. But it's also good for people who are like, you've just gone shopping and you just need to pick up something on the way out, or you just want to get something to drink. You can go in and get that, or whatever. But yeah, we don't have alcohol sold in stores here. I don't know about other countries. I'll be real with you. Haven't been to many other countries, and also have not looked at if they've got alcohol in store or not, because when I've been overseas, I was a child. So yeah, not really seen anything to do with that sort of stuff, and don't really know. So yeah, definitely let me know down below, in your country, where do you buy alcohol from? Is it in the normal grocery store, or do you have a separate store, or is it like in a secret third place? Not that I really care about alcohol. I'm not a big drinker. I was actually talking about this with one of my roommates. Some of the people we live with do like drinking and like drinking a lot, and some people who live here don't drink really at all. And then some people are kind of in the middle of like will have a drink maybe if it's social, or every once in a while or whatever. So like we have a little bit of a range here, but yeah, I kind of just save it for New Year's. I don't get the same feeling everyone else does. Everyone always talks about like getting a buzz and feeling relaxed and whatever, and I just feel tired. That's it. I just feel tired. So yeah, I'm not really much fun when partying like that. I'm much more fun without drinking, because then I'm not grumpy and tired. I mean, to be fair, I'm usually grumpy and tired. That's just me. That's just me, regardless of drinking or not. But no, I'm definitely a lot more fun without it. I prefer not to. It's just easier. Like, some people drink and for them it helps them relax. It's fun. It's easy. It's groovy. It's whatever. But I just don't get that, and it does sometimes make me feel sad. But also, for me, I'm like, it's super cheap. Like, I drink once a year. Do you know how much money I save? It's beautiful. I love it. Because I don't have to spend money. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The drinks, not from the New Year's just past, but the New Year's before that I didn't have, that I didn't open, are still in my fridge. So yeah, I evidently don't drink that much. In fact, one of my roommates gave one of my drinks away because they're like, well, you're not going to drink it. And I was like, look, you're right, but don't take my stuff. And so, yeah, no, they're probably going to sit there until next New Year's. Because I was meant to bring them this, like, the New Year's just gone, but I completely forgot to. I managed to to remember everything else that I needed, but I forgot to bring that. And yeah, it's just not really my thing, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway. We are getting close to the point I was talking about earlier, where these are the cans at the bottom here. The ones that, yeah, now look like tomato cans, and they're like, what? They're like green beans or mixed beans and carrot and corn or something down the below. And then I end up doing some, I think, baked beans or something. It looks like baked beans to me. Oh, that's soup, actually. I don't know. I end up doing a lot of these, and you might see eventually it kind of starts to freak out and not let me put any more. And that is because I hit some sort of limit, and I was very shocked by that. So I ended up having to delete a few and make it kind of look like people had been taking them off the shelf a little bit, or maybe they didn't have enough stock on the shelf, like, to fill up the shelf. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the English words. I don't know if you just saw before me trying to place something down and it went red and it just wouldn't let me place anything. That was the issue I was having. It was very, very quick. If you go back a couple of seconds, you might see it. But yeah, it just wouldn't let me put any more. But then I took a few away and it let me put more in, and then it let me put more single ones in. So I put the single ones in, and that was fine. So apparently, yeah, there is some sort of limit going on, and I found it. And it didn't like me finding it, and I guess that's okay, because I didn't really need any more beans. There was a lot of canned vegetables there. And then, yeah, we just have some more canned goods and whatnot. There is like a pet section, a tea and coffee section, a stationery type section with like like binders and stuff like that. And then I think there's one more section I'm thinking of and I can't remember. Oh, like an appliance section and a plate, bowl, cup, cutlery, utensil section, with like plates and bowls and stuff like that, and mostly like baking dishes and whatnot, because you can find that sort of stuff, like baking dishes and pans and pots and storage containers and like that in some of our grocery stores. Nothing too fancy, or like, it's not bad quality, but it's not like the best top of the line quality either. It's just like average normal stuff. The containers are good though. The storage container's good, but also, yeah, there's some stuff that I've bought from the grocery store, and like it's okay, but it's definitely not my favorite thing. Like, one of the knives and chopping boards I was using, they just don't go well together. It's a non-slip chopping board, but it's like really hard to cut anything on, and because of that I accidentally cut my thumb at some point, and now I have a little circular scar on my finger that's not gone away. It's been there for like 6 years. Wow, really? 6 years? I don't know how to count, guys. That's insane. 6 years. I thought it was like 3 years. That's insane. Okay, clearly I don't know how time works anymore. Do you guys ever get that, where you're just like sitting there and thinking about like, oh yeah, this thing happened like 3 years ago, and you're like, wow, no, that was 6 years ago. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because yeah, it was like early 2019 when it happened. Maybe not this early, but like, yeah, we're coming up on, I would say, in 2 months. Yeah, it probably happened in April 2019. There's stuff like that I remember, which like, oh, how did you get that little cut on your finger? Like, oh, it was from April 2019. But there are other things, like when I started my uni degree. My first one I remember, my second one I don't. Because the first one, like, you're gonna remember that. Like, I was so excited, and I was doing my little double degree, and I was getting some stuff done and making friends and like all this fun stuff. But could I tell you when I started my second degree? No, could not tell you. I was like, I don't know, I just blinked, and one day I was doing the double degree, and then the next I'd graduated and I was doing the next one. So yeah, no idea, not a clue in the world. So yeah, that it's so like weird little things like that we remember, but other things that we don't, and I find that insanely curious. Let me know down below if there's any of you guys who feel the same about that. Like, are there any random things that you remember that, like, why would I remember that? But other things that you should remember that you always have to look up because you don't. Yeah, sometimes I just don't remember these things. I don't know, it's weird, because like you'd think, okay, maybe it's you remember dates, but if I remember dates, wouldn't I remember the date of me going to uni? Because evidently I don't. It's weird. It's very weird. So, oh, okay, I even put a section in for pillows, and I think I tried to put some vases in. I don't remember if I keep them there. Oh, it's like a little home section. That's cute. I forgot I did that. Again, I did this build in November last year, so it's been a while. So, you know, if you've just moved in and you need some pillows and a water bottle and some cooking utensils and stuff, we've got you covered at our little grocery store here. And if you just had a baby, we don't have much other than baby bottles, baby wipes, and nappies, but it's a start. It's a start. I don't think brand new babies need baby food, because I mean, maybe they do. Like some people can't or don't want to breastfeed, and that's okay. We can pretend that the baby bottle is formula. They've just got some weird funky special, the formula's in the bottom and you just have to make it. It's fine. It's like pre-dosed out for you. There you go. That's what it is. And you get to keep the bottle. How brilliant is that? And if you bring the bottle back, they'll give you a refill. That's genius. Absolute genius. But also, if you've got a pet, we've got some toys for the pet and some food and some food bowls. If you need some fruit and veggies, we've got some fruit and veggies here. I know there's like barely anything in it, but it's okay. There's fruit and veggies. You got some potatoes. We got some potatoes. We got some onions, I think, and maybe some capsicums. I'm not sure. You guys, I think in the States you guys call them peppers. We call them capsicums. But yeah, that's, you know, we got some fruit and veggies. Oh, and there's the bakery. I forgot to talk about the bakery. I made a little bakery where they do in-house baked everything. They don't do any packaged baked goods here. They're all made in-house, which I think is super cool. There's also a bunch of baked goods on the floor, because I was like, I'll come back and put them in. It's fine. I'll like tool them into place, and then I just I never did. So when I came back to take screenshots and just check over the build and whatnot, there was pastry all over the floor. So I just picked it up and put it in the bin, in the delete bin, because honestly, I don't think you guys want to see and want to eat floor pastry. I don't know, maybe you do. Maybe you're really into floor pastry. But I personally am not into floor pastry. So, yeah, I just chucked that out. Also, because I was like, the bakery looks good enough. I don't really need to add anything to it. I don't need to make it any different, any special. Like it's got baked goods in there. We're good, and it has like that huge tray wheel system storage thing with all the other baked goods and whatnot in it. So you know, if you want to buy 16 loaves of bread, you can, because we have that. It is all the rest of the bread we have, but if you want to, you can. But yeah, every time I feel like we're getting close to the end of this video, I realize we've still got so much longer left. And that was me trying to edit this video. I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this little kitchen area, like this kitchenette area, and then I'm going to be stocking those the storage cupboards, and then I'll be done. No, there's still the office and the outside to do, and I don't know why it takes me so long, but it just does. Evidently this part I forgot to speed up, but the rest of it I do. So there is some point where it'll speed up again. Because yeah, I just didn't want to have to deal with restocking at such a slow speed. So I think we are about to mega speed up. Yeah, there we go. So apologies if this speed makes you guys dizzy, but I'm essentially just moving faster because really I don't need to sit around and show you guys this at half the speed at which it's currently going, because yeah, it is just a bit much, and I knew in my head that this would take a while, so I tried not to move around as much, and you know, just go over and grab a bunch of items and put them in, and then fill them up like this, so we're not moving around as much. And I'm glad that I kind of thought about that in advance, because like, yes, we're still moving around a lot, but I don't know, I like the fact that we're getting through this section a lot faster than the other half of the build. But yeah, the storage shelves back here, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna fill all of them. Some of them, yes, I'll fill the whole thing. Like, they've just ordered a bunch of stock and they're not gonna run out because there was maybe like a sale going on to buy this stuff, but also maybe they've restocked a little bit, so I'm not gonna fill it up all the way. But there you can see, like, I'd forgotten to put the water in, so I definitely put some water in there. And yeah, also one thing that I discovered, apparently, I don't know if this is true everywhere, but apparently in Germany you can like open packaged like the drinks that I put down, they're I think in this instance they're like a 6-pack, but in Germany you can just open that and like take one if you just want one, like individual sale. To me that's insane, because here you can't open package like stuff that's like that. You take the whole thing, you don't get to just take one. But I also think that's super smart, because I don't really want a 24-pack of drinks. Sometimes I just want one, although we do have much more variety. So like we have, if you want a can at some of our grocery stores, you can actually go up towards where the cash registers are, and they will have just like all of the single stuff already in the fridge, and you just grab one and, you know, pay for it and have it as you please. So, you know, if you do want a single one, you just go and get one of those. But if you also want a larger one that's single, because those are all smaller, like the can sizes or the small bottles. But if you want a bigger bottle, they do have bigger bottles on the shelf that are just on their own. So yeah, the idea of just being able to open the thing, that kind of like that's a big no-no here, which is, again, I don't know, I think I was talking about this the other day about loving to learn about how other cultures work and like the expectations and the norms and stuff like that and whatnot. And this is another thing, like I'd have no idea that you could do that. And you know, some people find it weird that some people here will, when they're shopping, they'll put stuff in their bag and then they'll go to the checkout and they'll take all the stuff out of the bag to pay for it and then put it back in the bag and leave. And a lot of people are like, but they could be stealing. Like, yeah, absolutely, they could be stealing, but they're not. But I don't do that. It's not everybody here who does it. It's just some people. So if you're ever in Australia and you see someone putting it in like a shopping bag, like, okay, if you're putting it in their like backpack or something, I would question that. But if they're putting it in like a shopping bag, it's they're probably not stealing. They're probably grabbing the stuff to put in the bag so they don't have to carry the basket around. Some people do it for hygiene reasons, which, you know, I totally get. I don't like messy grossness. It's messy and gross. But other people do it because, yes, they are stealing. I'm not gonna lie. Some people are stealing, some people aren't. You never know. Honestly, you never know who's stealing and who isn't. So, yeah. It's, I don't know, it's a bit weird. Sometimes, yeah, even within the country, sometimes there are things that, like, some people are like, yeah, that's normal, and other people are like, no, that's weird, that's not normal, that's not usual. So, yeah, I don't know. And again, like, I've lived on both the east coast and the west coast of Australia and seen the difference in a lot of different ways, you know. When I lived on the west coast of Australia, there's barely any people there. There's like 4 people who live there. No, not really. There are people, but it's such a quiet place compared to the east coast. And I've been to and lived on the mainland side of the east coast. I've either lived or been to the entire all of the east coast states and territories. I say territories, it's just one. So, you know, I've seen what it's like. I know a lot about all of them. But yeah, like, Western Australia is just so quiet. It's really, really good if you do want a quiet, relaxed lifestyle in, again, if you want to, this is, okay, I lived near Perth, which is the capital city of Western Australia, and yeah, it was, I would say the city was a little bit more suburban feeling than a city feeling, but it's still definitely a city, like absolutely a city. It's just like there's not as many people there. Whereas, you know, I've been to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and all of those places have people just all the time. Especially Sydney and Melbourne. Brisbane is kind of in between. It's kind of in between Perth and Melbourne, I would say, in terms of people quantity and people consistency. I don't know. Sydney has the most. I mean, it makes sense. It's the probably the most popular place in all of Australia to go. But yeah, it's just, there's so many people in Sydney, and I would say there's so many people in Melbourne too. I'd probably, in order of like the amount of people, Perth would definitely be at the bottom. So I'd probably go Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth. That's the order I would put them in. But yeah, I don't think I could live in Perth. It's just a little bit too quiet for me. Sometimes I think the world forgets Perth exists. Even Australia. Sometimes some of Australia forgets Perth exists. So, you know, it takes some time for things to get there. So if you order anything, it takes a while to get there. And like, if you've got people who are touring, sometimes they just won't go to the West Coast at all, which, like, that sucks. Like, if you're from the West Coast, like, if you live in Australia, like, you should be seen as well. But a lot of tours are on the east coast of Australia. And yeah, like I said, it's just a tad bit too slow for me. I definitely would visit again, because I did live there for a little while, but yeah, I think it's just a tad bit too slow for me. But I also don't like people. Well, it's not that I don't like people. I just don't like big crowds of people and constant hustle and bustle. I do like some quiet time. So, you know, maybe Sydney? No, Sydney's the hustle and bustle. Maybe Perth wouldn't be all too bad in the long run, I guess. Like, just having, if you wanted a bit more of a quieter life. I'm still not sure what I want and where exactly I want to live. You know, like I said before, I've moved around, lived all different places. So, yeah, I don't really know what I want. And, you know, I'm still young enough to be figuring it out and having fun and going off and exploring and whatnot. And I feel like I'm going to say I'm young enough until I have kids, if I have kids. So, yeah, I don't know. Also, it's this point at which the game crashes, but I have cut out all of the previous stuff from my understanding, I believe I did. And then, yeah, this is just me kind of redoing it. So if I do end up redoing that desk area, I do apologize, but I think I cut out the right spots. I'll be honest with you guys, I was editing this last night at 11 o'clock. Well, I finished at 11 o'clock, and I was a little bit confused as to what I'd done. I accidentally deleted the entire video except the bit that I wanted to delete, and I had no idea how I did that. So, yeah, if you want the opposite to happen to what you're actually trying to do, just send it to me. I'll figure out how to do it. I mean, I won't figure it out. I'll just accidentally do it, because I'm just a genius like that, apparently. I don't know how I did that. I was like, huh? What? Where did my video go? Why is it like 3 minutes long now? Oh, I deleted everything except the bit that I wanted to delete. Cool. So yeah. I don't know. I just do cool tricks like that, apparently. And yeah, anyway. We are sort of getting close to the end. So while we are getting close to the end, I'll quickly tell you guys about this challenge, because I forgot to at the start. So the A to Z challenge is a challenge I created a couple of years ago, where February I do 26 builds in 26 days based on the 26 letters of the alphabet. And then in July to December, you guys get one a week if you want to participate. If you don't, you absolutely can ignore this. But yeah, you guys get to do a build a week or a cast creation a week. And yeah, I don't know, it's a fun little challenge, helps you get outside of your comfort zone, outside your square, outside your box, and yeah, that's it. You basically just get given a letter and you get to build or create based on that letter. That is it. So if you want to do you know, I did a grocery store for this, but if you want to do a getaway or I can't even think of anything that starts with a G for a sim, a gym junkie sim, or if you want to build a gym and a gym rat sim, you can do that. Absolutely feel free to do that. And it also can be a room. It does not have to be a full-blown build like this. The only rule is no CC. I know I'm using CC, but it's okay. It's the reason why I do no CC is because a lot of other people don't have CC, don't have access to CC, and whatnot. So yeah, and it also makes it a bit hard for me to tour the builds when there is CC in it. But obviously I can tour my builds because I already have that CC in my game, which is like, I mean, that's how I built it, was by having that CC. But anyway, we are, yeah, pretty much just getting to the end here. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I do for the next 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Because I think it's just picking some art for around and fixing up the kitchen a little bit. But yeah, if you want to participate in the challenge, definitely check out my Instagram. I'm not necessarily going to be holding it solely on Instagram, so if you don't have Instagram, don't worry. I'm just, yeah, again, trying to figure out how to do it in a way that everybody who wants to can get involved and everyone who doesn't have to. I mean, if you don't want to, you just don't. It's as simple as that. Yeah, anyway. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm still very excited about it because I love this challenge. It's so fun to see what you guys come up with. It's you guys just come up with such fun, interesting things, and yeah, like I said, very keen to see it. And if you want, you can absolutely get started now. You do not have to wait for the challenge to start. If you want to get ahead schedule, you could absolutely start building now if you want to, or chaosing now. I don't know how chaos works. I don't know the terminology for chaos. It's not really my thing. I should do a chaos challenge where I try and do something in chaos and most likely fail, but that's okay. I'm okay with not being good at everything. In fact, the more things I'm not good at, the more things I can learn and get better at in the future. So, gives me more opportunity to learn. I love learning, so, having those opportunities to learn does make me excited. So, yeah, anyway. We are kind of getting towards the end of the video now. So yeah, definitely let me know down below if you enjoyed this build, if you hated it, anything like that. Across the road also there should be the fast food restaurant from yesterday, but I accidentally built this in the wrong save file, but it is now currently in the correct save file. So if you want, no, I was gonna say if you want to see it, it's there, but there's no point to seeing it because it's in my save file. Anyway, you'll see it on the short that I did move it into the right spot, and it's kind of cool because you can see the grocery store on one side and the fast food restaurant on the other. And if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check that out because I build a burger shop and a like a Starbucks, basically, like a KFC and a Starbucks, which, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of really fun and exciting to have done. And yeah, I don't know, there's just so many more builds that I want to do and work on because I'm just having the time of my life with these builds. Seriously, CC is my favorite. It's my favorite thing in this entire world. Maybe not. My cat definitely is. Anyway, it's probably enough of me rambling. If you've enjoyed this build and or my rambling, make sure to subscribe down below. Definitely lets me know that what I'm doing is good and that you guys enjoy it. But yeah, until then, I'm gonna go off and do some more building, working on tomorrow's build, finishing it up, and yeah, I don't know, I'm super excited about that. I'm finally getting ahead of schedule and whatnot, and it just feels like a breath of fresh air to be ahead. But yeah, anyway, if you've enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe. I come out with a video every single day except for the last 2 days of February, and until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.